There we are. All right. Hey, everyone. Welcome to Taco Tuesdays. Sometimes we can't tell when this goes live, so we have these awkward moments at the beginning of every single live that we do. It's awesome. So welcome to Taco Tuesdays, where we discuss fitness and good food and everything in between. I am Brandon Glass. If you don't know me yet, you will soon. I'm a trainer. I'm a coach, a physical therapist assistant, a fitness nutrition specialist. I'm joined, as always, by my ace here, Nick. Nick, I'll let you introduce yourself.
Hi, everybody. I'm Nick, obviously. I'm a nutritionist, personal trainer, a restorative movement specialist. And I also have a huge passion for helping people overcome their emotional and mental boundaries. I think, as always, our goal for these lives is these talks and these trainings is to not only educate you with, super valuable information and knowledge, but also to give you some actions that you can actually take so that you can actually make changes, right? And so anyway, I see Ina's out there. Hi, Ina. A couple other people are watching. Hi, thank you for being here. Like us, give us a quick thumbs up. Let us know you can hear us. Anyway, you want to stick around today because we've got some really good information coming at you towards the end.
For sure. If you hear grumbling in the background, by the way, it's Captain Waffles, our resident pit bull. He's grumpy. He's in the studio here with me. I think he's vacating now, but he could come back. So you want to jump into it here, Nick?
Yeah, absolutely. Actually, I'm going to let you jump in and just give us a quick little kind of tidbit of what it is that we're talking about.
Yeah. So more trends, right? I think what we really wanted to talk about was like the high fat diet. So, and we'll get into kind of how that has sort of come about. I don't think anybody has really purposely taken on like a high fat diet necessarily, but the big super popular diet that's out there right now essentially is a really high fat diet. By virtue of cutting carbs, right? So traditionally, I
get so fired up over this, as you know.
Yeah, me too. I know. Me and Nick are like, we like to talk about all the things that the popular trends that kind of come and usually go in the health and fitness world. And this one in particular kind of gets under our skin for a number of reasons. But let's get into it. So traditionally, the advice over the years has been to get over half of our calories from carbs, right? At least 45 to 65% of our calories.
About half.
Yeah. But as much as 65%, and then 20 to 30% of our calories from fats. And the super popular diet right now has people turning that on its head completely. And that ratio has turned into like a 55 to 60% of our calories from fat. 30 to 35% calories from proteins, 5 to 10% of our calories from carbohydrates. I know Nick is like, I know it irks you, right?
When it drives me crazy. We'll get into it, but
yeah. So there's an awfully big difference, right? There's a big difference between 65 and 5%. And we want to talk about the idea behind that way of eating and what that does to us. So why have we gone from me, right? That was the old advice, and I don't agree with that either.
To be clear, yes, be clear,
yeah. How have we gone from that to eat all the bacon and cheese, right? How did that happen?
Yeah, it's an extremism, right? And the thinking is, if we eat a lot of fat and almost no carbs, your body is going to go into what's called ketosis. I think we've covered this before. And that means you're basically only going to burn body fat. So yeah, you get pushed into ketosis, and if you're in ketosis, life is supposed to be good, super easy. Everything's golden because you're just burning fat and you're lean and mean and green. And okay, a couple things on that particular note. Fats do not provide us. It doesn't provide everything that our bodies need to function properly. So having only that, or that huge amount of it, is not good. It is no good. And not only that, but excess fats in your diet, it still gets stored as fat. And to add on to that, too much fat has some crazy consequences that I'm sure we will dive into. But let's start small and just peel apart some of the dangers of fad diets in general without maybe naming them, although I think I already did. So particularly though, the high fat diets. So it's basically the ones that say you can eat whatever you want as long as most of your carb or your calories come from fat. So like Brandon mentioned, the trending thing lately is get, 60% of your energy from fat?
Yeah, 65% of your energy. Yeah, that's a lot.
It's
a lot. It's a lot. Yeah, and houses. I mean, just at the bottom, like, okay, even that diet aside, but like, here's the thing about all of these diets, to get a little bit away from the fat thing, right? That's not sustainable. Every diet that promises super fast results, right? It's just not sustainable. You're not going to do that crap forever. Right? Eat grapefruit and cottage cheese. Like, there are a billion. So Nick, you asked that question.
I know you got a lot of good ones. Some of them I had never even heard of.
Oh yeah. I mean, they're bananas. And we do that out of desperation, right? We're like, anything to get rid of this fat. And I get it. But anything that's promising you like really fast results, you're going to lose, 10 pounds a week. That is crazy. That's not going to last. You can't, your body, one, those results aren't going to last. And two, that habit, what it takes to do that, it's never going to last. So what the hell? Like, I think, so getting back to those ratios, I think it's safe to say we could meet in the middle somewhere between 5 and 65%. Right?
Definitely. Maybe even more safe to say that we should meet somewhere in the middle, right?
Right. Oh, absolutely. Yeah, we should. So, too many carbs, if you've got too many carbs in your diet, and I do think, 65 plus is an awful lot of carbs, depending on where they're coming from, especially. We're going to get into that. Mm-hmm. Bring those down a bit, and you can bring your fat up, certainly. But no, let's just go nuts and reverse the ratios. That's kind of crazy thinking, right? That's pretty extreme. We're a society of extremes, or maybe
absolutely.
Yeah, perhaps it's human nature, but we expect results yesterday, and so we do these crazy things, right? And we love them. They apply to our nature, right? Of black and white, simple. We love that, right? But one of my favorite quotes is something like this. I'll get it wrong, I'm sure, but to every question there is a simple answer. And then there is a correct answer. Something that simple hardly ever is the right thing. We got to dig a little bit deeper. So carbs are not the enemy. Fat is not the enemy. Our lifestyles, our habits, the industrialization of the food chain, those things, those are big problems that we face.
Yeah, man. I know. I've actually similarly to that, I have another quote. I actually, funny enough, I wrote it down because of what we're going in today, because I wanted to read it verbatim, right?
Yeah.
But it's called The Journey, and it has to do with about, I don't think it has to do with this exactly, but it's very applicable to this, what we're talking about.
Mhm.
It's called The Journey. And it says, at the edges, it all falls apart. Extremism is rarely something we need. Those absolutes let us off the hook because they demand not to be negotiated. In between lie the good middles. They are difficult compromises that matter most. The middle is where we can build things that have a long-lasting impact. We need a compass and a place to go, but the road ahead to that place is rarely straight and never absolute. I hope that just sums up everything you just said, by the way. But
That was way better than my quote. Whatever.
no way, dude. It's just so perfect at what we're talking about right now.
It really
you
is.
can't go extreme. You cannot absolute. You can't cut anything out. You can't take shortcuts. You can't do it.
Right.
You need a compass and a place to go, but that road is rarely straight, and it's never absolute. I love that part.
Yeah, 100%.
But yeah. So what happens when we do this sort of thing to our body, right? So that's kind of what the question, what our topic is really today. So first thing, it's important to understand that there are different kinds of fats, right? We know this, but it's one of the biggest problems, I think, with high fat diets. And it's that they rely mostly on animal sources or processed foods. Animal fats, they're not inherently bad, right? We all have our favorite, right? But they're higher in high risk factors. A lot of them have bad cholesterol and et cetera. We can get into the science of it, but we don't need to. But like I said before, bad stuff can happen, especially if you're eating them in large quantities. So like bacon grease in your coffee. Okay. Sorry, that takes me off. But we want to try to get those healthier fats as well, right? But imagine this for a second. So remember back to those ratios you were just talking about. Being on one of those extreme diets, 60% of your calories coming from fats, right? Imagine trying to do that if you're on a plant-based diet.
Right.
Good luck.
Yeah.
Because without having, you might as well just pound some olive oil, man.
Right. Right. How are you going to do that without also going over your carb intake of 5% or whatever for the day as well? There's a reason, right? Plant fats are joined, often by carbohydrates. Nature gets it right for the most part, and also fiber. That's the other thing. It's joined by a lot of fiber a lot of the time.
Yeah, we're getting some good comments here today. I'm liking it so far. But
yeah, absolutely. Rebecca's in here with us. Love that.
Yeah. Speaking of which, we'll get to that.
Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, like is anyone out there on a vegan keto diet? I'd love to. Never seen it. So I'd love someone we know is pulling that off. So what does
oh yeah, sorry, I got off on this
diet do to our bodies, right? That's the thing we want to get into a little bit more, I think. But let's
just quick little rundown.
Yeah. How about we just kind of run over the risks, and they're scary, right? Kidney stones.
Sounds great.
Steatosis, that's fatty liver, right?
I had a friend actually who had that, and it caused some serious issues for her.
That's a bad problem to have. That's serious business. We're talking about life-threatening stuff, right?
Seriously, yeah. They said if she continued down that path, she was like, you have months left to live if you keep doing this.
Yeah, and it's not like it's easy to reverse either.
Right. Anyway, continue.
Other things, low levels of protein in the blood, hyperproteinemia. So the studies are what I really like to look at. As
you're a science guy.
I am. But yeah, studies have found that people following super low carb diets, meaning a higher fat diet, right, have higher levels of low density lipoprotein cholesterol, right? Which is a big risk factor for heart disease as well, right? Coming back to that animal fats thing. Other studies have found that a low carb diet, super low carb, like we're talking about here, that focused on animal sources of protein also, of fat, increased risk of type 2 diabetes as well, right?
Okay. So
Not
for a lot of people, honestly, mostly in the short term, and then as soon as they stop, that weight comes flying back on and an extra 10 pounds on top of it. But I will give that it does work short term.
Yeah.
But
You
those
see a lot of
long-term
stories.
risks, yeah. But those long-term risks that you were just talking about, that is no joke. And not only that, but they lead into eating disorders. They lead into how we associate mentally between food and health and what's right. Like what people believe, what's healthy and what's not. And it really pisses me off because people don't know, because it has worked for some 20-something-year-old Instagram model. And so these people who see that, well, it worked for them, so why wouldn't it work for me?
Yeah.
I'm completely applaud that you want to try, but damn, there's a lot of differences that need to be addressed from who you are on an individual basis and who that person is on an individual basis.
Right. Well, and people post their best lives, right? That's what social media does.
Yes, definitely.
They don't come back and they're like, hey, all that, all that dieting that I did that made me lose, 55 pounds or whatever, like, also gave me kidney stones and now I have fatty liver. All right. But, we're studying this stuff and we're seeing what the long-term consequences are, right? So yeah, you'll lose weight. You'll be in my dark sense of humor, you'll be buried in a smaller coffin. Yay. No, it's not just about what you are putting into your body either, right? It's also about what you're replacing. Those carbs are important. They're super important for your brain health, for your organ function, all those micronutrients, vitamins and minerals. Guys, that's important.
I'm going to jump in real quick. You said brain health, and that is something that's big for me, right? That is a huge thing, because when your brain is functioning properly, it will literally shape your mind. And when your mind is functioning properly, it's going to help to shape your body. Okay. Does that make sense?
Yeah. You will really feel like crap, right? And when you feel like crap and your mind is not in the right place, that's your motivation. That's the fire. Nothing happens without that.
Yeah. And so all those micronutrients, carbohydrates, your brain literally runs on carbs. That's what promotes a healthy brain, therefore a healthy mind, therefore a healthy body. I can continue.
Yeah,
but
totally.
you
Right. No, you're right though. Vitamin and mineral deficiencies cause serious problems, big ones. But so how's this for another indicator? I know someone who is looking into kidney donation for her father, and guess what one of the restrictions from the transplant team is? It's a high fat or keto diet. No go. You cannot donate.
No. Imagine that.
If that's not an indicator, I don't know what is.
Okay, so yeah, absolutely. But I think enough of the science. What can we do? What's the action steps here? Let's try to wrap it. We get another thing we got to jump into. So what's the action steps that we can really make happen, right? Brandon, I'll let you take first.
All right, thank you. Yeah, what can we do? The big focus for me here is focusing less on eliminating carbs and more on eliminating processed foods. Okay. Again, high fat diets are really usually a result of the whole carbs are the enemy craze. And I hope you guys know us well enough to know that when we talk about controlling carbs, we're talking about the processed carbs. It's the breads, the pastas, the cereals, right? The refined flours. That's the stuff that, gets us into trouble. because our bodies don't know how to process that. We did a whole training on that a while ago, a whole talk on that. So I'm sure we can direct you to that if you'd like to see it. But yeah, we never recommend cutting down on veggies. Right? Have you ever seen the need? You're like, oh, you're getting too many vegetables.
Nope. I'm just gonna quick jump in here. Rebecca just said, so keto ain't so neato. Nope. It is not actually long-term effects. No, it is not so neato. And with that, I'm just going to keep going. So I to piggyback on what Brandon was talking about, we don't endorse a low-fat diet either. We're always talking about balance, finding the right balance for you.
Totally.
So if you're consistently getting enough veggies and grains and you're still not getting enough calories in your day, then by all means, introduce a little bit more extra healthy fat into your diet. Olive oil, fish, nuts, avocado. And like I said, you got to get some freaking carbs in there because they're good for you.
Absolutely. Right. Get those things. We're meant to eat a balanced diet. And I know it's hard to know what that looks like, in the age of abundance here, right? Diet used to be determined by availability, right? Mm-hmm. From nature. We ate what we could get. But now we have constantly available massive quantities of food and a lot of processed foods our bodies don't know what the hell to do with. And we can get those foods without lifting a finger, like almost literally. Really, almost literally, you can push a button and have a pretty damn unhealthy meal delivered to your door. It's an issue.
But to counter that, there's also a lot of services that provide healthy meals.
Yeah, totally. That is becoming much more convenient now as well, which is really, really exciting. Of course, that came a little bit later than the gratuitous, cheeseburgers to your door thing, but we're getting there. Again, though, I gotta reiterate, like, carbs themselves are not the enemy. Vegetables especially should be eaten in abundance. Fats are not the enemy, but there is such a thing as too much, certainly, especially those animal fats. Nick, what's another good thing I can think? I hope you named this one. Another good thing people can do.
Well, we've talked about this before, and since I kind of mentioned it earlier, I think intermittent fasting. And because that's kind of like another scary word, right. It doesn't have to be scary. You can ask literally, God, I don't know. There's a handful of people in our group I know who are doing it right now, like as we speak. And it's they thought it was scary to begin with as well, but it's not scary. It doesn't have to be scary. Really, it means just simply not eating at a time that your body might not have access to food if you're, actually having to work like our ancestors did. Like if you have to work for your food.
You had to gather your food.
Yeah. So like when you're sleeping, that's a big part of it, right?
It's part of your fast.
And then, you wake up and you have to go get your food. And, that's how our ancestors did it. But anyway, if you're really needing to burn fat, a high fat, super low carb diet, not the only way to force your body into ketosis. Intermittent fasting puts you into ketosis with a really healthy way. So yeah, I think we talked about this one in quite a big chunk before. So if you want, if you're interested in that, just, give us a shout out and I will point you in the right direction. I can refer you to that training video as well.
Totally. Yeah. If you're not in the Facebook group, if you're listening to us, please reach out, find our Facebook group, Drop the Fat, Not the Tacos on Facebook. I'm pretty sure we're the only one.
Yeah.
So I hope guys, I really hope that this has been helpful and useful. I didn't ask you guys a lot of questions, so please, just give us a thumbs up. Let us know what's on your mind. We'll, we always like to come back in here and answer questions in the comments. So do that if you're with us live in the group. And again, if you're listening, come back and check us out. So you guys know that we really, we really care about our community, and we enjoy reaching out to people. So, if you opened up and shared today, we'll probably say hi. Don't be scared.
And it's true though, like to, piggyback once again on what you were saying, we do like to help. We do like to answer questions. We do like to have conversations, but I talked about this last week. If you don't make it known that you need just a little nudge in the right direction, we can't help you, like even if you have an idea, like a question, like it's probably a question that somebody else has. Maybe we'll even do a training on it, but put it out there, make it known, because that is probably all it will take to help you get going in the right direction, help you get a foot in the right direction.
Yeah, all these talks come from, well, not all of them, but a lot of them come from just popular topics that have been, discussed in the group, or questions that people ask us. A lot of the time, our clients will have a lot of questions about a certain thing, and so that's where a lot of this comes.
And that's where it stems. It's a seed that gets planted, and without that seed, no tree can grow. Anyway, whatever. Yeah, enough analogies.
So here's my big question to you guys out there. Now that I'm thinking about questions, I'd love for you to answer it here in the comments. But it may be something you need to think about a little bit more. But what is it that you really want your health to give you? And I want you to think really deeply about what changes you want or need, and what they really mean. Right? We tend to get hung up on these numbers. I want to lose 15 pounds or 20 pounds, 30 pounds. Right? And that's great. That's fine. That's a finite idea, like, to put a number on the goal. But, what will that do for you? Right? Improve your confidence socially, maybe intimately, professionally, at work, give you peace of mind. I just really want to reframe what you're really doing here, what it is, you're not just hell-bent over a number on the scale, right? You're creating a life of everyday confidence, everyday peace of mind, everyday acceptance, gratitude, empowerment, but also a whole lifetime of those things, and the relationships around them. We're creating longer lives, right? That's what you're trying to do here, right? And I wanted to frame that for you, and tie that to this one life that you get to live, right? And I want that to inform your habits and lifestyle and your expectations. It's great to lose weight. I know and it could be detrimental. Like, it may be something you have to do, and it can totally get done healthily. I want you to keep in mind, anything that has you losing tons of weight super fast is highly unlikely to stick, right? And that's the reality. And talk about losing that peace of mind, right? And that confidence. So that is the reality. I hate to,
yeah, man, no, that was good.
But it is almost certainly coming, those quick results are almost certainly coming at the cost of some of the things that I just mentioned. And you really can do this the right way, guys.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. And our hope, as always, a lot of people will take this information and they'll run with it, and they'll make some changes, and really make change in their lives for the better. I think that's why we do this, right? That's our hope.
Yeah.
But sometimes we do know that, and it's hard to make change. It's hard to be motivated, and it's hard if you don't have the right support, the right accountability, and having those things can go a really long way. So, as we said before, don't hesitate to reach out to either of us, or to anybody in this team, in the whole group.
Totally.
We're happy to have conversation.
Yeah.
Now, on that note, Next week, we have a really big change coming, and we're super excited about it.
I think we've announced it not announced it, but I think we've said that a couple of times, and we've had to push it back a couple of times.
No, I actually cut you short last week. So, but it's actually happening next week. So you'll have to come and listen to figure out what it is. Next Taco Tuesday, same place, same time, and we'll see you then.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, guys. Thank you for being here. We really love you guys. We love this community. It's awesome. It's been busy, and that's what we love. If you've been kind of a wallflower in the group, that's okay. Totally fine. I'm a lurker sometimes too. But yeah, reach out, ask questions. It really is a place to do that. We want to answer those things. So on that note, we're gonna get going. Keep lifting each other up. We love you guys.